A lot of success in life can come down to who you know. And that's one thing that's kind of underestimated in this world is that you have to have a network of people that you're working with in order to build something. You can try to build something on your own, of course. You can start your own business up, have Fiverr, have whatever. You can sell, whatever you're trying to sell. You can do that on your own. But to go to a certain level, to get past to the next level, it's like you need to know the right people because the right people may know more than you. And that's how a lot of people learn is that they get somebody, they get up under somebody that can teach them things. They get like a mentor. And a lot of us who want to be successful in life, who want to be successful entrepreneurs, who want to have our own businesses, and have our own, businesses and our own clientele and stuff of that nature and be successful. A lot of us, we need to be around people that are actually doing it. If you want to be a good basketball player, you can play basketball every day at you can play basketball every day at the park with everybody else, or if you're lucky enough, because luck does have a huge role to play. Try training with some people that are already in the NBA or about to get there, or almost in that level. The harder you train, the easier it'll get when it's wartime. So I feel like a lot of it's life is about a lot of it is like who you know. Like right now, if I knew the right people, I'd have my channel back, and not only that, I'd be able to utilize that and utilize the platform of YouTube, and then start doing more of my music. Because that's what I was ultimately building. I'm building a little fan base. People get to know who I am, know a little bit about my life, and ultimately, start seeing if they want to buy my music, and then ultimately coming up, showing up to shows, stuff like that, and just expand and build it organically. But in this world, there's always things that try to take your happiness away, and we got to be aware of that, which is absolutely brutal. But a lot of people got to the places they're at in life because the people they knew. How many rappers I've heard coming up talking about how they used to get free studio time because they knew this person, or they knew this, or their sister fucked this person that was an A&R or a producer, and it's just. And then a lot of people in the music industry, they have a lot of family members in the music industry too. Like they have a lot of connections and stuff like that. Life is all about connections, man. Knowing the right people in life can take you far. And when you're somebody that doesn't have any connections, you have to rely on your raw, natural talent, your raw, natural ability, because there's nobody that's going to come save you, especially as a grown man. No one has no sympathy or empathy for you. In fact, they want to see you hurting. In fact, when you're hurting, they want to make it hurt even worse. You know, there's a lot of mental issues going on with a lot of men. Insecurity is a mental issue. Jealousy is a mental issue. Fear is a mental issue a lot of times, because sometimes people overdo it in all of those aspects and departments. And one thing I want to just talk about is like when you want to build something, like when you go to a 9 to 5, right? It's not just you there. There's you, and there's like the HR department. There's a whole different departments at your job or whatever, right? So that's an example of everybody kind of quote unquote working together, even though they're forced to work together. But the more people that's working together on it, the more money there is to be made. You're not going to have a company like Microsoft, just working with one person. So it's the same when you're building up your business as well. Is you got to find people who think like you, who have the same mindset like you, have the same spirit like you. You got to build with them, and you got to fuck with certain people. You know, like recently, when, when my channel got taken down, I got doxxed, all this type of shit. There was only a few people, one person really, that was really looking out for me. You know, and making sure I'm straight mentally and stuff like that, talking to me on the phone and all that. And there's a few other people that hit me up, even a couple of big YouTubers hit me up, seeing if I was all right and stuff. And I'm talking about people that have like 100,000 plus subscribers that know about me and hit me up and was seeing if I was all right. And I'm like, damn, I didn't know I had that much of an impact. I was just talking on my phone just about my life randomly. I didn't know this would come back, and actually blow me up to something. I never thought about that, man. I'm just a regular average guy, just like anybody else that makes these type of videos or whatever. I'm no different, just my take on it. But knowing the right people could save you in life, man. Knowing the right Chad or the Tyrone or whatever, going to the right party, knowing the right people can take you far, man. And that comes down to if people just like you and how you look like a lot of times, and it's obscene. But How many times have you heard of nepotism being applied to your workforce or job or schooling or something like that? Where it's like, wow, this person only got this position because they knew this person. That's just how it is. How many times you hear people talking about, hey, bro, hit me up and I can get you up in there. It's just, but you already know that the higher the tax bracket, the more you have to know the right people. And that's another thing. It's like, they feel like there's some invisible barrier. And it's like you won't get there, you won't get there until you actually reach it. And when you reach it, you'll know. It's like entering a $20 million club. For those who know, you know, it's it's crazy. But a lot of things in this life, especially the music industry, it's formed off relationships. Like you have to build relationships with people, and it's hard when you're online. Try to build relationships with people that you don't actually really talk to in real life. But sometimes it can be easier to build relationships with somebody you've never met in real life than with people that are around you in real life. It depends. So I encourage you guys, go out there, man. Try to network your music, network your books, your writing, whatever you're doing, and try to build that. I remember I tried to do that about a few years ago and it didn't really, you know. And to be honest, I didn't really put no money or anything behind it, because a lot of the times it does take money to promote and to link up with people and shit like that. Because people may ask you to like, donate to whatever little project they're working on and stuff. And you want to have, you want to do nice things for people too, because because in the future you may want them to do nice things for you too, for your book and your stuff and your funding, whatever. So it's nice to try to network. But remember, your network is your net worth. Being around the right people can totally change your life, and changing your environment to a positive environment that's conducive to your success or conducive to your creative projects and innovations, that can be very beneficial to your mind. And especially people like us that like to write a lot, we're just trying to find and trying to figure, it's very difficult to figure out how to make money doing creative things. That's why it's good to have people that are already doing it. So that's one of the best things I can tell you is find somebody that's already doing it and then try to emulate them if you can't talk to them directly, and try to get little tips off of them. If they make YouTube videos and stuff, they got courses and classes. I'm not a big fan of that. I think people are gatekeeping information, which I understand as a business model, but damn, it's just some things you might as well just give to people for free. Just be real, but yeah, so remember that, man. So a lot of people you see in these positions of power, wealth, and influence, you just got to look around to who their parents know or who they're related to, and it's a lot of nepotism that goes on. It's absolutely brutal.